Asia, I see you very much okay. So I'm going to give you an icebreaker. I'm going to share a slide with countries that are scrambled, and your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to unscramble the letters of those names there and let us know how many countries you can figure out. You have 5 minutes starting now. Well, we'll see, we get to 5. Feel free to put the countries in chat, the ones that you get. Let's see how many we can come up with. All of those are countries. I can give you one. Number 16 is Ukraine. Lucy is team number 1 with Belgium. Lucy, Belgium is which one? Number what? Correcto. Thanks, Lucy. All right, let's see if we can get one more. Anybody else who has one they have seen? Grace is number 2. 6 is Norway. That is correct. Let's see if we can get a few more. Wairima, Serbia. Number 15 is Serbia. Fantastic. Anybody else? Grace has 14 as Sweden. Yes, that's correct. Lucy has one more, Uganda. All right, keep going. Vietnam. Fantastic. Asia comes in with Malaysia. Yes. Grace has Nigeria. All right, let's keep going. Good job. We are doing really well. Lebanon. I see that. Verima. Good job. You still have some time? Okay, I'll give you one more. Number 13 is Portugal. Cristiano Ronaldo. Anybody else? You're doing so well so far. So well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whoa, we already have 10, by the way. We already have 10. Let's see if we can get 2 more. 2 more. Switzerland. All right, 1 more. Thank you, Grace. 1 more. 1 more. Lesotho and Nigeria. Okay, we got 2 more. We got a bonus. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Irima. All right. Not worry. I can share this later with you, and then you can try and see if you can get them all. And it's a nice icebreaker that you can feel free to use with teams. It gets people really engaged, and I got it from the internet. So I'm very willing to share it. Thank you for your participation. Thank you for being so willing to unscramble those letters. Today, we will be talking about authenticity, and we are going to look at it in a similar sense, the way we have looked at this exercise. There are some things that have happened in our lives, that there are things that happen in our day-to-day, in our places of work, in our personal lives, that have gotten us in one way or another living inauthentically. So we are going to be unscrambling some of those places so that we can be as authentic as possible, so that we can show up as authentically as possible in our relationships, in our workplaces, in our relationships, in pretty much as possible, to have authenticity as something that is part and parcel of our lives going forward. I want to begin with a quote. I want to begin with a quote by Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde said, "To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all." I wonder what comes to your mind when you see this quote. And please feel free to get off mute and tell me what comes to your mind, or just type in chat. Let's see. What comes to your mind when you see this quote? To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist. That is all. What comes to your mind?
Tony, I think for me, it's really, I think when people don't understand what is their purpose, and they just, it's almost like they're on autopilot every day. You know, it's same old, same old. So they don't really live their life. They're just trying to survive every day.
Thank you, Carol. Totally agree. Living without a purpose and just surviving. Okay, anybody else? When you see that quote, what comes to your mind?
Anthony,
yes.
This is Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
When I see or read that quote, I think of a herd of sheep or animals, as it were.
Yes.
Just following one another. I mean, the first one crosses the road, we all cross the road. So I get to think about the herd mentality.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lucy, Coach Lucy. Great. Anybody else? Grace, what do you think?
I don't know. I don't have any thoughts.
That's all right, Grace. Stephen and Julia, karibuni sana, welcome. Any thoughts on the quote?
Maybe I can try. Oh, and asante sana. Maybe I can attempt. I think most people exist. That is all. People are just, they're like, it's, I don't know, it's, you know, living, they don't get to experience life. They just wake up, like follow a routine that they're not so invested in. That's what I think. Or they're not so careful, that they don't give so much thought into. When what to think Swahili wako tu, that's what I'd say. Yeah, autopilot mode. Yeah, you just do a thing that's just because it needs to be done.
All right, I'll take it. Thank you very much, Julia. And the question I want us to ask ourselves as we are saying those things is, am I leaving, or am I existing, or am I leaving? And I want to add what you said and say that living is fulfillment. It is doing something worthwhile. It is creating stories. It is creating a legacy. It is leaving an impact. It is leaving something in the lives of others. And like Carol said, it is finding your purpose, finding your mission, finding meaning in this life. I believe that comes with living authentically, finding what you should do, finding yourself and finding your mission, and living that mission authentically. So I want us to look at what is authenticity together. And I will ask, does anybody want to tell me what, when they see the word authenticity or authentic, what comes to their mind? Aisha, let me pick you, please. And then Wangari. It's a discussion. We want to have as many, we want to tap into the wisdom that's in the room. Aisha Abonyo. Cara, I see that. Thank you. Real.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter. And what comes into my mind when it's about authenticity is that what I think is authenticity is more of what we would like, what we'd like to perceive whatever we do, what we would actually bring forward to whatever we would like to achieve in a given objective or a given fact that each and everyone would like to do. So I think my understanding is that whatever that you want to do, what comes before or after it, that's bring about the authenticity in it.
Okay. Much appreciated. And I was saying that Carol had written there in the chat, it is being real. I love that very much. Anybody else who has something to add?
Hi.
Hey.
I think authenticity is being true to yourself. Like, yeah, I think that's what it is. To me, that's what it is. Being true to yourself and embracing the things that make you unique. Yes.
All right. I love that. Thank you very much. And Wangari says genuine, and we'll take that. So my additional comments to that is accepting the reality. You're saying being real, being genuine, being true to yourself. And authenticity is accepting that we are different and being okay with the differences. It's doing what is aligned with your values, such that your heart and your actions align. You believe what you are doing. It is looking in the mirror and liking the person that you're seeing. I shared something today, and I quoted Michael Jackson. He wrote a song saying that he was looking in the man in the mirror and asking that person to change his ways. So it's looking in the mirror and liking what you see. So we have a picture of a dog looking at the tiger there. And then this dog decided that it wanted to be a tiger, and it went and it got itself painted, thinking that it would become a tiger. And this is inauthenticity at its best, because the dog is a canine, the tiger is a cat, they are different species. Painting it, no matter what you do, it will not become a tiger. In our countryside, we call dogs tiger. That doesn't change it. We want it to sound tough, we want it to feel tough, but it doesn't change what the dog is. The dog is really a dog. And in fact, this is a mongrel. And I can't see you guys. I hope you are laughing. It's supposed to be a joke. But really, this is inauthenticity at its best. Someone's mic is on. Please switch it off. So Dr. Seuss has an interesting quote that he said a long time ago, that today you are you. That is truer than true. There is no one alive who is youer than you. And that's what I want you to take with you. You are the youest. No one can be you like you can be you. So today you are you. And I want us to look at what makes you you. And a couple of things come to mind. And one of them is your DNA. Your DNA is so unique. Even two identical people, identical twins, identical triplets, do not share their DNA. Their DNA is as unique as anybody else's DNA. Your biometrics, your eyes. That's why when they set up biometric systems, they scan your eyes, because your face is unique. Your face is your face, even if you are identical. And the other thing is your fingerprints. Your fingerprints, that's why when we are traveling, they take the prints of our hands at the airport, because they are unique. These are some of the things that make us unique. We are so unique that even zebra in the wild with their stripes, none have the same pattern. They look so similar, but they are also distinct. And we look so similar as human beings. We like following each other on social media. Some of us do not want to miss what's going on. We are trapped in something we call FOMO. Somebody said that we have become FOMO sapiens because we don't want to miss what's going on. So we are connected on social media all the time. So because we don't want to miss what's going on. But even if we follow our influencers, even if we follow people that we call mentors, etc., we are still unique. And small differences like that one of the stripes being unique have very huge outcomes. What do you see in front of you? That's a man and a what? There's an animal there. Let me see wildlife enthusiasts. What animal is that? An ape. All right, Lucy, thank you. Yes, it's an ape. Which type? Because there are many. This is a chimp, to be precise. And small differences over time, incremental changes have such a difference. The DNA of a chimp and another animal called a bonobo, also an ape, and the DNA of Homo sapiens, me and you, are approximately 99% the same. That 1% is why we look less hairy than that animal. That 1% is why we are able to make computers. We're able to make rockets. We're able to make electric cars. We are able to go to the moon and to Mars and to make AI because of 1%. Small differences have huge, huge outcomes. Think of compound interest. Think of 1% change in the population of China, for instance, just 1%. Think about a 1% change in the population of the world, and you have added so many people. Small incremental changes can make a huge difference. And I am challenging you to make small incremental mental changes so that you are more authentic. And we are going to see how to do that and how it can help us become more authentic. But we want to go back to where it begins, where we become ourselves, and come back to where we are today, and then challenge some things to see how we can become more authentic. Now, quick question to all of you. Are we products of nature or nurture? Or none, or both, or is there even a third option or a fourth option? Carol, both. I'm expecting as many people to answer this one because I want you to take a side. Both. Anybody else? Are we both? Thank you, Julia. I see that. Are we a product of nature or nurture? Grace, both. All right, both has many. Rema, both. Awesome. I'll take two more. Come on, people. Proof of life. I want you to know. I want to know that you're there. Thank you, Lucy. Nature. All right. Nature has more than nurture this time because Lucy has picked nature. All right. Esther. Welcome, Esther, and both. Awesome. I wanted two more. I've gotten two more. You can still put some if you want, but I'll go on. So I agree with all of you. Nurture. Nurture has gotten one from Rehab. Karibu Rehab. And so now we are on par. They both have the same number of votes. So we are actually a product of nature because we were born a certain way. Our DNA is something that we may not change. We can't change a lot about our personality. There are some things that we can't change because we were born that way. We were given that. But we are also a product of nurture because we were brought up by parents. We were brought up in a society. We went to certain schools, and some schools have very strong cultures. And some of us, when we go through those schools, we keep the culture with us, and we like people that went to that school because we understand each other. So we actually a product of both nature because we can't change the DNA. We can't change some parts of our the temperament in particular, not the personality, the temperament. If you are introverted, you are introverted. If you're extroverted, you are extroverted. But nurturing now can help you because you do take some things from your parents. because they are the ones that taught you. You do take some things from the environment, the community, the school, etc., etc. But I want to add another factor that we often forget, which I actually believe is more powerful than nature and nurture, and that is choice. So we are actually a product of nature, nurture, and choice. And choice here is what you learn after coming the way you came and being nurtured the way you are nurtured, and then discovering yourself. Now you have a choice to learn more. And to learn is evolution. To learn is growth. To learn is to change. So how you do that is, of course, by having a growth mindset. Because if I believe that I am a product of my nature, then that is the beginning of a fixed mindset. If I believe that I'm a product of my nurturing only, then I also have a fixed mindset. And the growth mindset is exploring, what else can I become? What can I do with what I have been given? What can I become? And this is where we start challenging some things. This is where we start challenging some things. And I want to make a very bold statement and say that you are where you are today because you chose to be there. And I'm pausing for effect. I am where I am today because I chose to be here. Some of us are in difficult circumstances. I have worked in a place that I didn't enjoy and I stayed there. And I was there because I chose to be there, because I could have left. So a lot of times, this is a hard truth, and I encourage you to actually, thank you, Lucy, very bold. I encourage you to introspect. I am where I am because it is a choice that I have made to be here, because if I don't want to be here, I can change some things. I am here because I've chosen to be here. And that's why I'm telling you, nature, nurture, and choice. And choice is the one that we are going to be dealing with mostly this evening. So I'm going to ask you to consider, I hope you can scribble somewhere, where are you? Is it where you want to be? Where are you headed? Is it where you want to go? So scribble something for yourself. That's a question you need to ask yourself. Are you where you want to be? If you're not where you want to be, what needs to change? Are you heading where you want to go? And if you're not, what needs to change? And if you are going where you want to go, then congratulations. If some things need to change, do change them. If some need to remain the same, please keep those ones that are good. Another thing that I want you to ask yourself is, who have you allowed to influence you? Because we allow influences. We allow people to influence us. Who am I allowing to influence me? And are they helping me go where I want to go? Because if there are negative answers to those questions, then I will urge you to stop being fake and to start being yourself. And I'm going to walk you through what I believe is one of the easiest ways to be yourself, to be authentic. And I'm going to start with something that is pretty easy for most of us. I call it superpowers. What is your superpowers, you might wonder? And superpowers for me are your gifts, your talents. And I actually want to give you some examples. I read a book called Gifted Hands, and the writer says that he had very good hand-eye coordination. And you know that if you know the story, he went on to become the most famous surgeon at the time, Benny Carson. And he talked about his gifts. He had very good hand-eye coordination, and that made him a very good surgeon. So sometimes things like hand-eye coordination are gifts that we don't consider gifts. Another gift that I thought about is that I'm good with my hands, I'm athletic, I like numbers, things like that. I like animals, I have empathy. What are your superpowers? And if you're willing to share something on chat, please go ahead. But more importantly, scribble down. What are my gifts? What comes naturally to me? What am I inclined to do very easily? Now, those are the strengths that I was born with. Some are obvious. Some are obvious because we have been able to practice them. Some are hidden because we've not had a chance to practice them. Now, there's a bad part in this story. Some of them, you have buried them because you are told to not use them. You are told that you are noisy. You are told that you are sticking out too much. You are told that you are left-handed and you should be right-handed. Thank you, Irima. I see. Listening. Yes, that's a gift. So for you to be authentic, you need to uncover, you need to discover. And in some cases, for the ones that are buried, you need to recover those strengths. Then you need to sharpen them until they become superpowers. Because in every one of us, there's a hero. When you think about superheroes, they're actually human beings. They just have superpowers that they choose to use. And Carol, I see those ones: communication, empathy, courageous. Thank you very much. Those are some of the gifts that you have. Thank you very much for that, Carol and Irima. So one of the things that I'm challenging you to do is to find your strength and write some of them down and start sharpening them. Be curious. If there's something that interests you, find out. Maybe there's some strength that you have not utilized. Maybe there's some that you have buried because of what you are told to stop doing. Maybe at work, maybe at school, maybe at home. The second thing that I want you to figure out in terms of being authentic is your passion. What is your passion? And passion for me is what drives you. And here, I want you to think about what you love. What do you love to talk about? What do you love spending your money on? Some people like children, some like animals, some like cars. Do you know Jeff Bezos? I read his story. He loved books and he built $1 billion industry, $1 billion business, because of his passion. It was fueled by his love for books. He thought that everybody should get a good book easily using the internet. And that's how he started selling books on Amazon. Again, passions are like strengths in that some of them are obvious because you know them. Some of them are hidden because you've not had a chance to experiment and find them. And others are are buried because you are told to stop doing that because we don't do that. It's not normal. You are told to stop. You're sticking out. You are too loud. You know, I was called jumpy when I was younger, and it really upset me. Only when I started learning about temperaments did I realize that I was quite different from my introverted family. And that means I was told to stop doing some things. So sometimes your passions are buried because you are told to stop doing something. At a place of work, it could be at home, it could be amongst your friends, it could be anywhere. So you need, to find your passion. Again, I invite you, what do you love? What draws you? What could you talk about for days on end? What could you write about? What do you like participating in? How do you spend your money? That will give you a clue as to some of your passions. So number one, we talked about strengths. Number two, passions. We are coming to the third one. But before we go there, I want to show you 3 people from our continent who I especially like because I think they found something that aligned with their strengths and their passions. Wangari Maathai, Nelson Mandela, and the gentleman on the right there is called Caleb Karoga. Caleb may not be as well known to all of you as the other 2. He was an anchor in one of our local TV stations, and when he lost his job, he went into farming, and he built a business, a million shilling business, rearing chicken, cultivating coffee, and now he has a small restaurant right near where I live. And I just love going there because he's one of my heroes. He's found his authenticity. He's found his power. He's living the dream, doing something he loves and making money from it. When passion meets strength, you're onto something very, very special. I don't know if you have any examples of people you think that are doing something that they're really good at and that they're really passionate about. I know some people here because I know what they do. I know Carol, I know Lucy, I know what you do, and I've had the opportunity to work with you, and I can attest to your passion and your strength in what you do. Besides that, anybody who knows someone that we might know, they are good at what they do, and they're really passionate about it. Please feel free to share. Come off mute or write on chat. Karibu sana, Carol. Ladies and gentlemen, Carol is coming to us from South Africa, and she speaks some Kiswahili. How cool is that? Any examples of people that you know? Dr. Rebecca Minor, thank you. Thank you, Esha. Anybody else? Dr. Rebecca is a lecturer. Julia.
Yeah, she is.
I think I know her. Julia, me, the passion and enthusiasm. Thank you. I really do. Esther, I have fans on this call. Where? All right. Manu Chandaria, yes. For Carol, Manu Chandaria is an old man in Kenya who has affected our education system greatly because of his philanthropy. He's a great businessman, a mentor, an amazing, amazing man. Awesome. And I love that we are looking at local. We don't have to look at global figures all the time because we want to know that it is possible for people to find what they're looking for, to be passionate, to work in their strengths. The third component I want to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, which I think is really important in finding your authenticity, is your values. Every business has got core values. Every person has core values. Sometimes we don't know. And you know why? We don't know them because we lost them. We don't know them because we are exposed to businesses that are so corrupt that we lost our values. We don't know them because we are so stressed, we are so messed up, we are so tired all the time that we forgot to live according to our core values. And core values really are guardrails. They are boundaries. They are the ones that protect you from falling over on this side or on this side because they're your code. They give you a sense of purpose and meaning. I don't go beyond this. I don't go beyond that. They're your headlights. They point you in the right direction. I found an amazing quote about values. Somebody was saying, if you know your core values, then it is very easy to make decisions. So I'm challenging you to think about your values. And values begin at home. When you are growing up, there are some values that you espoused. Some you will keep for life. Some you may change. They may get a lower ranking among your values because you are getting new values as you go through your different life transitions. But core values are another important part of you being authentic. So I want you to think about which core values guide you. How do you run your life? What do you think about before making decisions? Those are your values. And at The Influential, we actually help people find all of that. When we combine those three things, your strengths, your values, and your passions, we get to that sweet spot there that we call your X factor. And your X factor, imagine this. You're doing something that you're really good at, like Lionel Messi. You're doing something that you're really good at. You're doing something that you love. So you love it and you're also good at it. And then you're doing something that is aligned with your values. I believe, like Carol was talking about purpose and mission at the beginning, I believe that if you're looking for your mission, if you're looking for your purpose, if you're looking for meaning in your life, this is one of the best places to begin. Knowing your strengths, knowing your passions, and knowing your core values and living those. So if you find activity, work where you can combine the three, then you have found your sweet spot and you are living your most authentic. Doing your best, doing something you enjoy, and something that you believe in. Now, I'll be the first one to admit that getting this is not as easy as the snap of your fingers, but it is possible. So here's where I would like us to begin. I want us to begin with our mindset because your mindset is your greatest X factor. It is your greatest differentiator. And I want to give you some perspectives around that. Henry Ford said, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you are right. The book of Proverbs says that in Proverbs 23, in the Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So if you think it, you become it. So your mindset is your most powerful tool. I love a quote by Harv Eker. He says that your mindset influences your feelings, your feelings influence your actions, and your actions give you certain results. So it all begins in the mind. And so I'm challenging you to have new perspective. I'm challenging you to look at yourself differently. I'm challenging you to see things in a different way. Because we have these people, we have those people, we have a lot of people who influence us this way and that way until we lose authenticity. We have jobs that stretch us so much that we are living for our bosses. We lose our authenticity. Sometimes we are living for our parents. We lose our authenticity. Sometimes we are living to please a certain clique, the cool people, and we are losing authenticity. And I'm challenging you to look at things differently. And those things that you're looking at will also look different. This quote, I looked it up. It has been attributed to a number of people. So I said I will not attribute it to anyone. But it says, if you sow a thought, you reap an action. If you sow an action, you reap a habit. If you sow a habit, you reap a character. And if you sow a character, you reap a destiny. So this is my challenge to you. I'm challenging you to think of how to change your mindset. Because when you change your mindset, you will be on that journey of changing from inauthenticity to authenticity. Any questions? Any thoughts? Go ahead, Julia.
Thank you. My question, I think I'd also posted it earlier.
Okay.
On this being authentic, is it something that comes naturally, like I'm living authentically, or you have to make a conscious decision and make yourself live naturally, or rather make yourself to live authentically? You've got it. Yeah. Is it something that you wake up and do, or you have to decide, today I'll be authentic, today I'll be authentic, today I don't feel like being authentic? So that's what I'm, yeah.
Fantastic question. And let me first throw it to the team. What do you think, team? We have a wealth of knowledge here. What do you guys think before I also weigh in on it? Let me hear if someone has some thoughts.
Anthony?
Mm-hmm.
In answer, I would contribute that to be authentic would require you, one, to be intentional because of factors in life that you cannot control. And you find yourself in those situations that you cannot control. And that is when you're intentional about being authentic, as opposed to in areas where you can control and be your true self. That would be my contribution.
Fantastic, Lucy. Thank you very much. Anybody else? Julia, I hope you had that one. It is intentional. And because there are so many factors that we cannot control. And just to piggyback on what Lucy is saying, there's a model posited by Stephen Covey in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, about the circle of influence and the larger outer circle, the circle of concern. So by focusing on the circle of concern, I actually uncover resources that shrink the circle of, by concentrating on the circle of influence, I am able to actually uncover resources that help me shrink the circle of concern and expand the circle of influence. So to piggyback on Lucy, yes, intentionality and changing your mindset. So you have to learn some skills. There are some skills that you have to learn so that you make them into habits. Habits become your character. And then you find yourself living more authentic. But it's a mountain. Let me say this. It's a mountain with no top. We keep climbing. Because every time there are things that will try to knock you out of your authenticity. Anybody else who had something to add?
Tony, yes, I think you are added what I want to add is that it's your habits. So if you got your superpowers, your strengths, you got your values, you got your passions, and you know where you're headed in terms of your purpose, and you create healthy, good habits, it becomes intentional. It becomes part of who you are. So when people say, at times I have these challenges and I don't always think I'm as authentic as I should be, my question always is where are you lacking? Where are those habits that you've created that make you stray, or deviate from your strengths, your passions, and your values?
Thank you, Carol.
Creating good habits.
Yeah. Thank you very much. So Julia, I agree with Carol. We have to keep doing it. And that's why it's a mountain with no top. We have nobody who is an expert at being authentic. We have to keep working at it. And often we fall out of it, but we recognize it because we are now living outside of our values. And then we get back on the bandwagon because it's a journey that we have to keep cultivating. I hope that answers you. Aisha asks, how does one maintain authenticity in a world that often encourages conformity? I like that. How does one become authentic in a world like that? So again, I'll throw it to the team. I have an answer, but I don't know. Does anybody have an answer for Aisha? There's expertise in the room. How do you, because we all live in this world, that we have FOMO, we have influencers. Nowadays we have influencers for everything, and they know everything. How do we maintain our authenticity? I'll count backwards. I think, I'm looking at the time. So maybe I'll go at it then. So Aisha, this is my take. I said that it begins with your mindset. If you believe you can, you're right. If you believe you can't, you are right. So it begins with you cultivating a mindset, an empowering mindset, because the mindsets, the way that you look at things, again, remember the slide that was before this one? If I change the way I look at things, I think things that I look at change. So the knowledge that this world encourages conformity makes you want to conform, makes it very easy for all of us to conform. But if you cultivate the right mindset, if you look at things in a different way, then you will learn skills, you will start behaving differently, and that will help you become more authentic. And it is small habits, because what makes me conform? That's a question I would ask. Is it social media? Maybe I'll take a social media fast for a day. Start with small steps. Maybe I'll take a social media fast next week for 2 days. Small steps. Because what makes me want to conform? Maybe it's a certain group of people that I hang out with. I'll stop hanging out with them. I'll get a new group of people. So it is intentionality, like Lucy had said, but you have to work on your mindset. What do you think about what is affecting you? That's why we are asking what influences you. If what influences you is negative, then you need to get new influences. I hope that helps, Aisha. Thank you, Carol. I see that. Aisha, let us know if, fantastic. Wow. Good stuff. So looks like we had 30 people who had signed up, but only 13 have showed up. So something must have happened along the way, but that's still fine. I am about to end, and I am going to the next slide before the very last one. Lucy, please, go ahead.
You had asked if we had any questions.
Yes,
and
please.
I just had one. I love that we're looking at our strengths, our passion, and our values.
Yes.
So where, because we're being authentic, right?
Yeah.
if we're being authentic then, and if we have strengths, it means that we also have weaknesses.
Yes.
So how do I show up authentically when it comes to matters weakness?
A fantastic question, Lucy. So at some point at the beginning, I had shared the slide that had a dog and a tiger, and the dog was trying to be a tiger. One of the things that we ought to accept is that we don't have all the answers. We are not experts in everything, and that we have weaknesses. So there are some weaknesses where we are going to need to be complemented by people who have strengths in those areas. But there are some weaknesses because they are part of, say, my role or something that I have to build, that we have to use our judgment to know the ones that we have to build skills on, so that we are better suited to perform or to work. And I hope I'm not mixing this up. I'll say it again. There are some weaknesses where we get help because there are people who have strengths and who can complement us. But there are others that we may not be able to run away from. And the ones that we can't run away from, then we build capacity, we learn, we upskill, so that we can be able to get to a level. We don't have to be experts in that level, in that skill in particular, but we have to get it to a place of usability. And one of the skills, if I may say, so for me, is Microsoft Excel. I need that to do some things in my business, but I really hate Excel and I hate numbers, and I'm not very good at that. So I am complimented. Somebody does that work for me. But I have developed a user level because it is really part of a skill that I need, because I don't always have the help that I need where I am. So I need to make a record. I need to prepare a spreadsheet of some things, and I'm away from the office where I could get that help. So there is a place to develop a skill to a place where I can use it. There's also a place for complementary. Yes. And Lucy, I saw you laughing at me with the emoji.
Thank you. I'm laughing because mine is editing. And in my work, social media. And when I look at that black screen that has got little waves going one side, and I need to move an image or a recording from one side of the screen to the right side, and add in text and add in music and clip, and I basically just draw a blank. So that is a weakness that I have, and I do agree with you. It's building capacity from within, and I've brought myself up to a level where I can do the bare minimum on my phone. And if I need anything that is beyond that, I've hired someone to do that. I like the other one that you said. Other people will have strengths that I could then match to my weakness, and I'm reminded of the associations that I belong in. I bring a certain skill set. I have a weakness in certain areas when it comes to governance, and then others are taking on that. So I love how you have really distinguished the two. Thank you so much, Anthony.
Thank you, Lucy. Much appreciated. And thank you, Carol, for your comment. I see that comment. It's okay to not be very good at everything. We should accept that and reach out for help. We don't know it all. Well said. Any other thoughts? Any other thoughts or questions?
Hi.
Hey, Grace.
I have a question.
Go for it.
I don't know if it's going to make sense, but how do you know if you're authentic or if you're just lost? Like, it's not, okay. How do you know if you are being authentic or you're just lost in how everyone expects you to act and how you are because of what everyone expects from you? Something along those lines. I don't know if I'm making sense.
Well, Making sense. How do you know that you're being authentic? Lucy, yes, go ahead. Lucy's hand is up, I think.
Oh, I'm just loving the question and the way she posed it. So I'm waiting to hear what the contributions are.
Okay. Anybody? How do you know that you're being authentic? All right. If there is nobody, then I will go take the question.
Or maybe, oh, hi,
Yeah,
Tony.
sure.
Maybe I
Go
can
ahead, go
add-
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
Thank you. I'm saying, I think how you know you're authentic, you'll not spend too much energy and most of mental energy, perhaps also physical energy, trying to be what it is that you are. Because, like, if you're authentic, it flows naturally, I guess. After, as you said, like the intentionality, when you're authentic, it kind of flows with less struggle. But if you're not, it's like you're going against a certain current that you should be in. So now you find yourself again working too hard to be what it is that you want to be, and not what you should be.
I like that. I like that very much. You work too hard. You are probably pleasing people. There's some incongruence between your actions and your heart. That's what I gleaned from what you said. And I saw Carol. Yes, Carol, please.
Yeah, I agree with Julia. I think to not be authentic is hard work. It takes all your energy. So how do you know? The question, if I remember correctly, is how do you know that you've been authentic and not just lost? I think if you are lost, you're not achieving your goals. You're putting in extra effort, like Julia said, using a lot more energy to pretend to live up to other people's standards. So I think a temperature check to check your stress levels, your anxiety levels, and to then ask, where are those coming from? And I think it comes back to what you said, Tony, as well, is who are you allowing to influence you? And yes, if it sounds like hard work, it's probably not authentic.
Take it. Thank you very, very much. Yeah. So remember we talked about, and especially the values part, you need to be very clear about your values. And I love what Carol has said. Being lost means that you're not moving forward with your goals. So you do need clarity. So it's it's not a simple thing. It's a complex, or rather, is complex the right word? There are different facets to it. You need to have your goals, so you need to be moving towards something. You need to be clear on your values so that when you are not living within the values, then you know automatically you're not being authentic. So you need to get back to being authentic. All right? Because your values are the greatest part here in terms of helping you to live authentically. Grace, let us know if that suffices. And Stephen had said something here, maybe even when you are oversharing or explaining. Thank you, Stephen. Yeah, if you have to keep explaining, if you have to keep, maybe you're trying to reassure you that it's okay. You know it's not okay, but you're trying to reassure it's okay. If that is happening, then you're not living authentically. But we're not condemning ourselves. We're not condemning anybody. Empathize with yourself. Get back to authenticity. Get back to being authentic. All right. Good stuff. Our time is really spent. We have gone over the time we had allocated, but I thank you for your patience. Even the silent listeners, Rahab, the silent listeners, I appreciate you all. The last slide, or the second last slide, was that I put there. I am selling that course on our website, and it is going for 1,000 bob. It's one of the ways that you can start dealing with your self-esteem issues. Fantastic place to start. I have redone it. It's way better than what it was before. And I'm encouraging you to actually take up the offer. It's $10 or 1,000 shillings in Kenya. Boost your esteem, because when your esteem is in the right place, then you'll be able to hold your own. You'll be able to say no to the things that you feel are removing you from being authentic. You will be able to say no to things that you feel are of negative influence and that are pulling you outside of what you know is you being yourself. So I've put the link there. Please visit our website as well and poke around. There are other courses, but this is the one that I think you should have a look at. If you know someone who would benefit from it, please let them know. It really helps somebody learn how to build their self-esteem. It is designed like this. You spend about 20 minutes in the morning for 5 days. 20 minutes in the morning for 5 days, learning something, practice it, then doing it. You're on your way to boosting your self-esteem, feeling better about yourself, feeling more confident, going after your goals, and being more authentic. So please do go there. I also want to invite you to check out our YouTube channel. Allow me to paste that as well. For those who may not have followed us, there you go. Please also visit that, subscribe, poke around. Let us know your thoughts. Give us feedback. We would love to hear from you. All right. Last but not least, I want to say thanks again for your time, for your patience, especially Lucy and Carol. They came in really early and they've stayed, and all of you who came even later. I appreciate you. Me and my team, we really, really appreciate you. And we wish you a lovely evening. Yes, from us here is Asante Sana, and have a lovely evening.
Thank you, Tony. Good to see you in action again. Enjoy your evening too. Nice meeting all of you on the platform. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Carol. Amazing, as always. Thank you, Rahab. I see that in the chat. Feel free to leave at your own pleasure. Thank you, Stephen.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, Julia. Good night. Grace, great. Thank you. Werima, teammate, thank you. Simon, Stephen, Aisha, thank you, thank you, thank you. Esther, thank you so much. Aha, thank you, Aisha. Please let Dr. Rebecca know that I really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So I will now close the meeting. Thanks again.